industries, because the industries would have signed contracts with internal markets or external markets. And if he breaks that contract, those markets are going to take them to court. So we must ensure that there is regularity of supply, and there are ways of going to do that, of doing that in this country. Then we adopted this approach in a project we used to call Cassava Enterprise Development Project, which was funded by USAID, 75% and Shell 25% during the Obasanjo presidential initiative. And it was in the south and southeast of Nigeria on cassava. And we covered both production, processing, packaging, and marketing, and link farmers to markets. And we have different types of enterprise: the mobile grater technology, the micro enterprise, 1 ton per day, the small enterprise, 2 tons per day, and the large enterprise like 120 tons per day, which we were working with Matna to and Iyala, the starch mills in Nigeria, starch mills in Iyala. To summarize, the impact of that project at the end, what farmers were getting per month, what the enterprise were getting per month in terms of net income and job creation was enormous. And this is the type of commodity chain approach we should adopt to be able to derive those type of impacts in terms of income generation and job creation. The MG is the mobile greater technology, and even the vulnerables in the remote villages in the south and southeast can handle such things. Then the next one I want to talk about that the subnational sector should endeavor to take on is the youth unemployment and empowerment problem. The World Bank has mentioned it, that is a timing bomb. The president has also affirmed the importance of youth employment, and it has even gone to prescribe or profile the presidential initiative on youth program, which is SEEP, and which was launched or inaugurated in Abuja 19 to 21 September. This is at the national level, and all states should take this on board, because when the problem starts, it starts at the local government level, move on to the states before it gets to the federal level. So the principle of subsidiarity comes again. But we're talking about youth and employment. The question is, educated youth, these graduates, they have all the energy, but they don't want to go into farming. Why? Because they think farming is not attractive enough to give them the normal standard of living, increase their income, and let them live well. It has drudgery and so on. But we at IIT has proposed a model. We have these youths every year after graduation, they go for NYSC. So we tried to develop an initiative similar to what most states are doing now, because it's a serious problem, not only in Nigeria, but the whole of Africa. And so I see a lot of states are working on it, and after some of the governors of the states have visited IIT of late, we are working with them now in terms of capacity building, sharing knowledge, and so on with them, so that these youths, because in many cases, you spend a lot of resources on them in these initiatives, and after the end of the initiative, they all leave agriculture and go back to their various places. So how do we reverse that trend? And that's what our youth agro-entrepreneurship is all about. And we must consider farming for business. If it's not considered as a business, then they wouldn't. Yeah, okay. So we have created awareness creation amongst the youths. We have trained them a lot, and we have exposed them to all the improved varieties of IITA crops and what can be got from them. And we have also taught them agro-enterprise skills. We link them up to processors, large farms, and so on. We've even given them office and vehicle, and train them in crop production and processing, visit to seed companies so that they can be like outgrowers to these big seed companies. And after they realize the impact and the amount of revenue they can get from these things, they have set up their own multiplication fields, done their processing, they linked to large-scale farmers and processors. And the first year, they were just 22, and this was what they were able to achieve. 25 hectares of cassava planting, 15 hectares of maize seed, 4 and so on, because we told them to focus on seed systems, because Nigeria can only provide 6% of the seeds it's required in this country. So it's a profitable business that we have let them be aware of, that they can make a lot of money on. And the second year, they said, no, we're going to produce 50 hectares because we've seen that profit is there. So they did a business plan and did cost-benefit analysis of going for 50 hectares, which they are doing now for cassava, both stems and tubers, and maize, both, and soybean. And you find out that the cost-benefit ratio is 1.23 for cassava, stem and roots, 1.1 to 1.17 for maize, and 1 to 1.83 for soybean. And their funding strategy, from their production, they're able to provide 50% of their resources, from grants, from donors, foundations, 30%. And they're also doing training consultancies. I will show you that in a short time. Private partnership, they completed a training of 33 youths from Calabar in conjunction with Oasis Consulting. They've signed an MOU with Akiele government, local government in Oyo State, to train 250 youths in agribusiness. Then in Ibarapa local government, plans are on collaborating with the IITA youth on capacity building of youth within the locality. And on the visit of the Oyo State government,
Doctor, I have to ask you to summarize at this point.
Yes, sir. What they were doing, he has promised to build them a training center, and the Oyo State government has contracted them to assist his own youths in backstopping, and this year more youths from NYSC has been engaged. So they are not going, but rather coming. And the BIP is a new incubation platform system to attract businesses to come to IITA and see that their research output or technologies can be seen at a demonstration scale for success. And when they see that local example of success, they can go and set up their own establishment in many countries. And one key one that is important for Nigeria is the aflatoxin that is good for protecting groundnut and maize from the aflatoxin contamination, which may make Nigeria be able to export its groundnut and maize good. If you need further information on this, the aflatoxin and the Nodumax for biofertilizer, that is rhizobium inoculation of soybean, legumes, and other crops, you can visit IITA so that we can explain better to you on this one. And in my conclusion is for Nigeria to gain its past glory and unleash the potential of becoming a great nation in the agricultural sector or in the global agricultural market, it must adopt a market-oriented strategy with emphasis on value addition. Somebody was mentioning the post-harvest processing. Very few states are doing post-harvest processing, not just production alone. Value addition and productivity enhancement along the value chain. Those inputs that will increase our yields and not just expand land area. And all stakeholders need to cooperate in the planning and implementation of future